Good evening. I'm Lisa Broom with the CBC Evening News. In our top story tonight, the Day of National Significance is about to be transformed. This promise from Prime Minister Mia Motley as the important celebration once again failed to attract a large number of Barbadians. Kareem Smith reports.
The turnout at Golden Square in the city for the Day of National Significance was once again disappointing. It's now 81 years since Barbados' working class revolted against an oppressive system which prevented them from voting, forming political parties, or joining trade unions. Still, only a paltry crowd showed up for the important occasion.
There was a time when the National Cultural Foundation would hold a concert on this site every July 26, regardless of what day of the week it fell. And that brought us closest to bringing Barbadians to the story. But I'm satisfied now, as I am with all other national celebrations, starting with Independence Day from this year, that there is merit in requiring some of our school children to attend these national functions, because if they do not attend, they do not know who we are.
Along with the Prime Minister were founder of the Clement Pain movement, David Comachong, ambassadors of Cuba and Venezuela, as well as trade union representatives.
The time is upon us to establish formally, and I will ask Cabinet Office to assist in this respect, a small committee that will help me in consulting on how best we can bring honor and appreciation to this day of our national significance.
Mr. Comachong again praised the actions of those who rioted in 1937. He also highlighted the heroes of Cuba's Fidel Castro-led revolution and Venezuela's Bolivarian uprising championed by Hugo Chavez. Mr. Comachong believes Barbados' own revolutionary movement took another step forward this year.
And I am sure on the 24th of May 2018, in the minds of many Barbadians, free is how we start. And when it looked different, you got to move, just move. And when you're moving, when you're making that X in that voting booth, say it is a natural freedom that met you move.
Tributes in poetry and song brought honor to the memories of the country's freedom fighters. Meanwhile, the assurance has been given that next year's Day of National Significance will be a much bigger celebration. Kareem Smith, CBC News.
Thanks, Kareem. And Prime Minister Motley has hinted that the National Insurance Building in Bridgetown could be demolished as part of a major development plans for Golden Square. She told the ceremony other neighboring structures are also earmarked, for relocation to give air and breath to the hallowed site of Golden Square. Prime Minister Motley says a wall will be erected which will bear the names of every family that has lived in Barbados and a monument to honor those whose names are not known. An amendment could be made to the relevant legislation to allow building in Zone 1 designated areas. This from Prime Minister Mia Motley during the second consultation with government departments, developers, engineers and others to come up with comprehensive changes to the Town and Country Planning Act. She was responding to a question from a member of the audience who said he'd been trying for the last 10 years to develop family property at the Belle St. Michael. Now, Zone 1 refers to an area designated for water catchment. It is the island's primary water catchment region and is usually protected for fear of contamination. Ms. Motley says the report has been in government's possession for 6 years, but a paper should be put before Cabinet shortly for discussion on the issue.
We have to do it properly now to make sure that Barbadians across the board have a legitimate framework and that there is a legal foundation for people to act, because what we have is thousands of acres being written off from productive use because of it, and then what I call the tyranny of the state imposing itself on the people of the Bella and Licorice Village and other areas.
The government of Barbados is committed to implementing new and modern approaches in facilitating economic growth. During the opening ceremony of a one-day workshop at the Barbados Coalition of Service Industries, Small Business, Entrepreneurship and Commerce Minister Vybz Kartel told the 40 participants the new administration will encourage an entrepreneur in each household by establishing a trust loan fund.
This fund will function as a revolving fund in which government will provide $10 million per year for each of the next 5 years as seed capital. Small businesses or business owners will benefit from this security-free loan, of up to $5,000 each. When this loan sum is paid off in full and the borrower has built a good credit profile, yes, you have to do that, you are entitled to a further $5,000. So you can get as high as $10,000, borrow as much as $10,000 from this trust fund.
Minister Sutherland highlighted 3 initiatives that government has identified to hone creativity from a very young age.
Transforming the Barbados Cultural Industries Development Authority into an institution that can effectively export products and Barbadian professionals to the rest of the world. That is one of the manifesto pledges with respect to the cultural industries. The second one is redesigning the curriculum in our schools and to prioritize science, technology, engineering, arts, and mathematics. That is the STEAM project. And again, the youth is involved there. And also the final one is introducing a Youth Innovation Award.
Well, there's been an increase in the number of children being referred to the Psychiatric Hospital. And now a dedicated children's unit is one of several upgrades coming to the facility. This is according to Senior Health Promotion Officer in the Ministry of Health, Denise Carter-Taylor. And she was speaking during a recent event on the grounds of the Black Rock facility.
Very soon, we shall see a new children's unit, which is purpose-built to deliver health care exclusively to children and adolescents. We shall soon see the completion of an upgraded infirmary ward, which will be furnished with state-of-the-art equipment to augment the services offered to meet the changing needs of the hospital's patient population. It should be noted that the hospital has a predominantly elderly population with growing physical needs. The new infirmary unit will provide an opportunity for better physical care and in some cases reduce some of the referrals to the Queen Elizabeth Hospital.
And Hospital Director David Leacock has gladly welcomed the addition of the new children's wing.
We would have decentralized some of our child guidance services from here to the polyclinic services, and that has seen perhaps, let's say, a 3- to 4-fold increase as far as those persons coming to seek services. So there is a need out there. So what we are hoping to provide is that those persons that sometimes cannot manage in the community, they do have a specialized area they can come to and receive the care they need. Unfortunately, if we do have to have persons that require admission at present, they are still being managed within our generalist population. And we're hopeful that by December we will have the new children's unit on stream and we can actually have an area that those persons can manage most effectively then.
Well, former head of the Civil Service, Avril Gallup, has passed away. Ms. Gallup, who was also this island's first female cabinet secretary between 1996 and 2012, died yesterday at the Queen Elizabeth Hospital. Ms. Gallup was renowned for her professionalism and dedication to country. She started her career in the public service in the Ministry of Health, where she remained for 13 years. Ms. Gallup was appointed permanent secretary in the Ministry of Tourism in 1994 and then head of the Civil Service in 2000 before retiring 12 years later. She leaves to mourn her husband Billy and her 2 children, Warren and Gail. Next year could see the first, second and third place winners in the Pickety Crop competition all receiving a vehicle. Minister of Culture and the Creative Economy John King wants this put in place by next year. He outlined his vision during the launch of the 2018 courtesy Pickety Crop competition. Adrian Clark will be the first to take the stage at next Friday's finals as we hear from Kishmar Singist.
I pulled number 3, and to be quite honest, I'm happy. I believe that you pull numbers for a reason. Finals night is a different thing to semifinals where there are 18 people and you never want to pull number 18, but 3 is fine. For me, I am happy. I am just willing to go there and do my best, put my best foot forward.
I am happy with the 2 songs that I have, and I think, I have a really good chance at doing extremely well in the finals for Pick of the Crop 2018.
Similar sentiments were expressed by the other finalists. All are ready to give of their best. They drew for positions last evening, and after a switch, the final lineup was announced.
Adrian Clark, Big Show at position number 1. Billboard, House of Soca, position number 2. Crystal Cummins-Beckles, The Big Show, position number 3. Smokey Burke, Super Gladiators, position number 4. Mr. Blood, The Big Show, position number 5. Donella, All Stars, position number 6. iWeb, The Big Show, position number 7. Kidsite, All Stars, position number 8. Structure, All Stars, position number 9. And at position number 10, Jude Clark, All Stars.
The artists have welcomed an announcement by the Minister of Culture and Creative Economy that they will receive a $2,000 production fee. Minister John King says Barbados has some of the best calypsonians in the region and the world. He also wants to see the Pick of the Crop finals return to the days of being the premier competition in Barbados and the region.
We've spoken about the levels of the production, but like most other things, there's never a ceiling. And I'm going to challenge the calypsonians to improve on what you do. I will support you 1,000%. The other thing that the NCF is going to do through CEDA is that we're going to ensure, using the recording facilities that belong to CEDA, every single social commentary will be recorded next year. And so there will be no excuses as to people saying they haven't heard the songs. It will depend squarely on the tent managers and the calypsonians to get the material ready to suit May the 1st.
Sponsors Mount Gay and Courtesy Garage are pleased to be on board.
Mount Gay has been involved with the NCF with several competitions for many years. So it's really important that companies like ourselves support not only the local culture, but something which is very important to all Barbadians, and that is our Crop Over Festival. So it is with hope and some expectation that I look forward to the Minister's new twist on how things will pan out for next year and in beyond.
Next year, we should be celebrating 25 years as being part and parcel of the Pick of the Crop competition. We at Courtesy are very happy and enlightened to be part of this competition. 2 years ago, we were approached to take up the title sponsor position, and without any hesitation, we did that.
During the event, Billboard, AC and Mr. Blood engaged in a pecan battle.
Listen very carefully and for your wisdom. With this contest, I'm going and buy heels and a dress.
AC won.
Billboard, my friend, I will never get vexed because I know I cannot change my sex. I'm talking about sex. Is that SEX or STS? Wonder which one is the best. We're talking about blood. He wants to wear a dress. I always know that lingerie would look the best on somebody like you. Blood, and it is true. You and Billboard should go and get married for a tree.
The Pick of the Crop finals will be held on Friday, August 3rd at the Garfield Sorbers Gymnasium. Kishmar Senjis, CBC News.
Thanks very much, Kishmar. Well, the manpower of the Barbados Fire Service was boosted with the recruitment of 20 auxiliary fire officers. These men and women will supplement the full-time firefighters, and they're also the first batch of recruits to pass out from the Barbados Fire Academy after a rigorous 5 months of training. The training officer, Mervyn Mears, says they should be proud to call themselves fire officers.
I know without a doubt that several times during the training, some of you may have asked yourself, what am I doing here? I probably wanted to quit. but you have persevered and overcame the various perceived challenges. Some of the subjects that were taught during the training were foot drill, building construction, fire behavior, water safety, incident command system, firefighter 1 and 2, just to mention a few.
Chief Fire Officer Avril Maynard encouraged the auxiliary officers to go beyond their best and never settle for mediocrity.
Mediocrity is a poison that kills creativity. It can kill an organization or a country. Mediocrity has no place in the fire and rescue industry. Where there are pockets of mediocrity in the service, we resolve to pursue it with vigor and weed it out. Mediocrity is a type of scourge that produces a cessation of life.
And Auxiliary Fire Officer Shalisa Charles says the opportunity to join the fire service has shown her true strength.
I am now a better and stronger woman, physically, emotionally, and mentally, than I was before I started. I am sure every one of us feel better and stronger, especially after all those push-ups and other forms of punishment. There has been sweat, tears, and some blood on this journey. Even I shed a few tears when there were things happening that were beyond my control. But those situations added to my strength. It built up an unwavering determination within my colleagues and myself.
The Minister of Home Affairs Edmund Hinkson says he is aware of proposals for legislative amendments for the Barbados Fire Service that will transform it into a comprehensive fire management and rescue entity. He says there has not been any major revision of the Fire Service Act since the 1960s to modernize it. The Home Affairs Minister says they're thinking about setting up a Protective Services Commission as part of the reform of the Barbados Fire Service.
We will be looking at that proposal in the constitutional reform of Sir Henry, the Henry Ford Commission, and looking to see how we can bring that in, because we recognize that these departments are peculiar in nature and that the all-encompassing Public Service Commission may have outlived its purpose in terms of these commissions. For one, we probably need a full-time Protective Service Commission.
In Jamaica, the Court of Appeal has reserved its decision in the challenge filed by incarcerated dancehall artist Vybz Kartel and 3 others against their murder convictions and prison sentences. We have a report from CVM TV.
Trial Judge Justice Lennox Campbell is said to have acknowledged that the data on the phone taken from dancehall artist Vybz Kartel was compromised. This was a revelation by Bianca Samuels, who is one of the attorneys representing Sean Campbell, as she read an excerpt from the trial transcript. This was in direct response to the prosecution's assertion that the trial judge dealt with a piece of evidence appropriately. Samuel says the trial judge's knowledge of the state of the evidence means that the phone should have not been given to the jury. She contends that it was an issue of law, not an issue of fact.
The learned trial judge had a question of law to answer for himself, and that was whether or not whether the evidence had raised a reasonable doubt as to the integrity of the exhibit in light of the concession by the Crown that, in fact, the phone had been tampered with whilst in police custody. And that was a matter for the learned trial judge. It was a question of law.
The defense also sought to make a distinction between a file and a text message. Isat Buchanan, who is also representing Sean Campbell, says the transcripts offered no clarification on what is meant by file and text message. He says the file created on July 6, which is said to have contained the damning text message, does not mean the text itself was created on that date.
There were discrepancies within the transcript throughout that didn't make a definitive date as to when that text was created, and was not in conflict with Ms. Samuels' interpretation and the defense's interpretation that the original date was the 6th of July. And I would have presented several dates, including September 30th, which said that there was a modification date and a creation date and an opportunity for the information, the messages to be manipulated.
The Court of Appeal has reserved its decision, with its president Dennis Morrison saying he cannot make any promises or indication as to when a ruling will be handed down.
Well, police in Guyana are reporting that 3 of the 5 men killed in a shootout with lawmen are career criminals. The men were reportedly attempting to invade a house on the outskirts of the capital. HGP-TV reports.
The acting top cop wasted no time in dishing out the criminal files of the dead men. Ramnarine says police crime files show that Timothy St. Hill had a lengthy criminal record. He had reportedly provided support to the notorious prison escapees, Royden Williams and Yuri Varswick.
Timothy St. Hill, 38 years of age, several addresses. He was charged in 2015 with possession of firearm and ammunition without license. 2016, possession of narcotics. 2017, attempt robbery and break and enter and larceny. 2018, setting fire to building, that is to say, while he was in custody at Grove Diamond Police Station. Last year, while we were in relentless pursuit of the notorious prison escapees, that is to say, Royden Williams, Yuri Varswick, and others, we noted that Timothy St. Hill was very instrumental in providing medical supplies, foodstuff, and clothing. And at one stage, based on our intelligence apparatus, he was planning to obtain a firearm for that group.
Levi Braffith and Andre Daly were previously arrested in connection with gun-related crimes. Police are still checking to see what files they have, if any, for Ford and Dubé.
Levi Braffith, 31 years of age, he was arrested in 2017 for robbery under arms. He's from North Rhineveld. Andrew Daly, 40 years of age, Westminster Housing Scheme, break and enter and larceny, 2017. We are still checking on the information if there's any criminal record or history of Ian Ford and Jermaine Dubé.
The Police Office of Professional Responsibility has been called in to further investigate the shooting.
Well, we'll give you a peek into the world of sports in just a few moments here on the Evening News. But before we get to that, here's a tip from Cooperators General Insurance.
This tip of the day is brought to you by Cooperators General Insurance Company Limited. Insurance the way you want it to be.
Before a hurricane, you should fill your vehicle with petrol so that it is available for emergency purposes in the event that gas stations are not working. Cooperators General Insurance, helping you to be prepared this hurricane season.